hear? You ever notice that the information that we're being fed doesn't always add up to the truth? Do you ever look out your window at night when the rain's falling down? You ever look down the street and wonder what is going on around you? You ever look out at night and ask yourself, is this all that I am? Where am I? What am I? Is this all there is? Is this real life? As technology continues to bring us closer together, it also tears us further apart. We watch the skies and look at the planet around us and its natural beauty as it continues to march forward on and on and on, unending, unceasing, unwavering. And yet our world, everything that we've built, crumbles around us. We wonder, is this it? Is there more? There's gotta be. We can search. We want to learn. We want to understand. We want to see all that we can see, know that all that we can know. We want to look out there. We want to peek behind the veil. We want to ask the questions that nobody will answer. We want to light those fires, the sparks that ignite a curiosity in us. And we ask ourselves, what is out beyond all of that? Beyond the edge of reality. What's going on, guys? It is time. We're a little bit later than our usual schedule. We're on Thursday instead of Wednesday today, but hey, guess what? It is time. Edge of Reality is back. And if you hadn't noticed, I made a couple of changes while we were gone on the little hiatus there. So, yeah, trying a few things out that are new camera, got a new little bit of a lighting setup, and yeah, we're going to be seeing how this goes. Good to see everybody after the long, unintentionally long hiatus that I went on there, because I intended to make another stream right after Philadelphia experiment, but then with the Christmas season and a lot of other things happening, it just kind of got buried, and I ended up deciding, yeah, you know what, it would be better off if I just go ahead and take a little bit of a short vacation. And yeah, sure enough, so we did our Christmas stream. That was fun. And then, yeah, now we're back. So, good to see folks are filing in to say I know it's been a little bit there. What's going on, Murph's Turf? Good to see you. And Mexican Vader. Hey, everyone. Yeah, it has been a while. Hey, AP, good to see you. All right. And I know that more folks are going to be swapping over as time goes. But yeah, here we are yet again. And it's been interesting because well, boy howdy. This past month has not been what's the word I'm looking for? It's not been boring, I'll put it that way. Because yikes. There's been at least two major paranormal stories, like UFO things that have happened just over the last couple of weeks. I am still working on getting together information on the Miami case. We are going to talk about that. The reason that we're talking about this one so soon is because there was no shortage of information, and I'm not still trying to dig through a whole bunch of info. This one came together remarkably quick, and I was able to find a lot of information about it. So, yeah, we're gonna give her a shot there. We're gonna see how things go, and we're gonna just dive into this one. Hey, Irish, what's going on there? Good to see you. And yeah, alrighty here. So let's get into it and kind of do a little bit of quick housekeeping while I'm at it. So, yes, something I do need to mention. First of all, yeah, back right before Christmas, right after we did the Philadelphia experiment show, I did mention that we were going to be doing another show. I did take a poll. You all chose to do Skinwalker Ranch. That is coming. I don't have an exact ETA on that one, but pretty soon. Um, I'll be completely honest, that is a big one because there's just so much out there about that one. And I'll be honest, I've delved a little bit into it. I know about it and I know some of the lore, but I've not done a hard dive into that one. So I'm gonna be doing that, trying to make sure I give you guys your money's worth on that. And then of course, um, probably next week I'm gonna shoot for. Next week we're gonna try and do the Miami UFO. I'm pretty close on that one, but yeah, we'll kind of talk about it. And then yeah, I think Skinwalker Ranch, and then of course after that, who knows? We'll kind of take a poll at the time on that one, and we'll kind of get that going. But yeah, I gotta strike while the iron's hot on a couple of these stories. And of course, take a quick stroll over to Rumble. It looks like I've got 3 watching over on Rumble. Good to see you all over there. Say, feel free to go ahead and drop a comment and say, let me know what's going on. I will try and keep up with both chats as best I can. But yeah, alrighty. And actually, that just reminded me of something I have not done yet. So, da, 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 da. Sorry, I'm trying to grab something here that I forgot. There it is. There we are. Bloop. Okay. Hey, there's Shinnygram. Hey, you know Mama loves some Skinwalker Ranch, right? Oh, I'm betting. Yep. Hey, Young, how's it going? So, yeah, we're gonna be talking about the Jellyfish UAP incident that just happened. It was I say just happened. It was from 2018, and this one got kind of thrown out there into the public eye, and it stirred up quite a bit of shit. Let me just go ahead and pin that comment there. Okay, well, I'll have to do that later because, yeah, stupid heart in my way. I can't do anything about it. Anyway, it's time to get underway. So, first things first, I'm having a brew. So, it's good stuff. This is one of my favorite local brews, WeMac from Sun King. Great Indiana brewery. It's good stuff. Oakley dokley. So, I guess let's just kind of start from the top. And we find the actual release footage here. Looks like that one I neglected to grab while I was thinking about it, so shame on me. Okay. And as always, folks, feel free to chat, drop stuff in the comments, whatever you want there, and I will be happy to go ahead and answer any questions that come up. And as usual, if you really want to punish me while this is all going on, hey, always open to shots. You got to make you work for it, though. All right. Anyway, blah 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 blah. Where is Jeremy Corbell's? Yeah, YouTube. I had it and then I lost it. All right. There we go. There's his site. All right. And I was expecting a whole lot more of like some kind of like big, uh, like Jeremy's usual release of information, the way he usually does things, to do kind of a big bombastic uh, intro video. I was very surprised to see that he just released this completely unfiltered, just totally as it was provided to him. And yeah, we're going to talk about it. There's some questions that I have. So, let me get this pulled up. I don't know why, but YouTube has been really slow, like just on my end. It takes forever for it to respond, and yeah, it's been acting up for me. I don't know why, and it's on my work computer as well as my home computer. So I don't know what the deal is on that. Okay. And let's see. Come on, get that. Yep, I know. Professional production quality. Uh-huh. Should have had that ahead of time, but I didn't. Okay. Here we go. Sharing that up there. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to drop myself down in size a little bit here. So that way you guys can see everything. Okay. YouTube is being asshole. You're not the only one. Oh, okay. Thank God. Here I thought I'd done something. All right, here we go. This is the full footage. This is the unredacted version that is out there. This is the one that everything is based off of. And you're about to see it in basically in its full glory. There we go. I'm going to drop myself down there into the corner so you guys can see the full screen. It's pretty wide. It's on a screen. I'm going to drop the volume down because it's just, you can hear a lot of background noise. But yeah, you just see this thing. It's on IR. It's being tracked by a balloon, basically. It's kind of like one of those surveillance balloons. Now, I'm pausing this here because I want to make sure we note here. So this thing just kind of looks like it's just sitting there on the screen. And it's just moving, and it's being tracked by the camera. The camera is sitting stationary on one of these observation balloons. It looks like a blimp, but it's just a stationary observation balloon. And the camera is just panning around 360 degrees and zooming to watch. You know, you are not wrong, Mexican Vader. It does look like a probe droid from Star Wars. Yeah, you're not kidding. But yeah, you see them switch between IR and a couple of different modes here. But yeah, this is odd, and we'll just watch this and we'll talk about it. There's a lot of moving parts to this whole question. At times, it almost seems semi-transparent, which is also weird. But this object is just going over a base. This base is considered, according to information that's been released, a sensitive facility. So, not sure what the deal is there. And Murph, I believe you, and yeah, it does kind of look that way. Except notice that it changes position on where you see it on the camera sometimes, so it changes orientation. See just people down there, they're just walking by. Didn't even notice it. That's crazy. So, this was basically being picked up by a remote camera system, and it was just automatically tracking it. The remote camera system, essentially, it's like they use it for picking up drones, because overseas, I mean, even like those little drones that you can buy at, like, you know, the Walmart and whatever that you could, or off of Amazon, or whatnot that can be used for surveillance. So this object right here, yeah, that is the full item there. I'm going to back this up. So this actually starts with a bit of a close-up view of it. And I'm just going to kill the audio there. But yeah, you can see this thing. It's just moving. And yeah, like Murph's Turf said, it does kind of look like a smudge on the camera. There's even a few folks that have speculated that it was basically like a bird took a splat on the camera. And I'll admit, it does kind of look like that. But I have my doubts, and I'll show you why in a minute. So yeah, I mean, this thing just goes cruising over this whole base. Yeah, and it just doesn't stop. But yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, as you watch the thing, it moves around on the orientation, like where it is on the camera lens. If this was just like a splat on the camera lens, it would stay stationary. But as you can see, it moves around forward of the reticle and around the area. So it can't be a smudge on the camera lens, otherwise it would be completely stationary. This thing's moving all around the picture. It does kind of look like a guy with a jetpack, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, this is the the infamous jellyfish. And there is like a rocket pack or a jet pack that has been tested by I think it was the UK for boarding operations by their Marines, but it doesn't look anything like this. Okay, and stop sharing there. Yes, still no visible exhaust heat signature behind or under it. Precisely. There's still no way. There's no reason why this thing should be aloft, and yet it is. Agreed, Imperial probe droid. It's a good bet the Empire knows right here. Yep, I agree. So, believe it or not, and this is actually to, I think it was Jung's point there. Or no, sorry, Murph's. It was to Murph's point there. So this is interesting. So let me go ahead and pull this up. So this is another interesting piece of footage. I'm going to just zoom in here. We're going to full screen this. Watch this footage. Notice anything different? So yeah, this actually is somebody on Twitter, X. I still refuse to call it X. Sorry, it's forever Twitter to me. This video is somebody who took basically a bird splat on a piece of plexiglass and moved it around like on a camera lens to kind of try and create the same effect. It's similar, but it's not the same. Well, there's some reasons behind that. So, going back in here to try and find it. So, this is interesting. Okay. Here. So here is another video or a GIF that I found. So this shows the same object, but it's much more zoomed in and it kind of speeds up, but somehow keeps the object stationary. You notice that it has parallax. It's a three-dimensional object. It does not. It's not an artifact of the footage. It's not some smudge on the lens. It's an actual object, whatever it is. Now, there has been some speculation on this because apparently somebody did find this bit of information that I had never heard of, but apparently it's a thing. So there is a holiday called Eid al-Fitr, I believe that's how it's pronounced, which is an official holiday celebrated within Islam. On the left is a cluster of Eid balloons. On the right is the UFO found flying over Iraq. And they do seem to look very, very similar. I'm not entirely sure, but, I mean, it stands to reason. Could potentially be that. So, we can tell that it's a three-dimensional object. What specifically it is, we're not entirely sure. But what we are sure of is that it has no visible propulsion system. Could just be balloons floating. But the fact that it was detected, nobody's able to really identify it, nobody was able to find any information on it, is it's very curious. So, I did a little bit more research. I found this article here, and I'll try and zoom it in as best I can. So, and I'm just going to zoom in all the way there. Okay, yeah, you guys can read what I'm seeing there. Sometimes when I have it zoomed in, it gets scrunched on my other screen. I'm just trying to make sure I can watch what's going on there. Okay. So, this one so it's posted by Stephen Greenstreet. Quote, I spoke with the military witness of the Jellyfish UFO. It seems some recently reported details are wrong and or unfounded. Michael Sinkoski, I believe is how it's pronounced, was an ISR tactical controller at Al-Taqaddum Air Force Base in Iraq. Now, ISR, for those who may not know, is basically a acronym for intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance. So anytime you have like a spy plane or you have any kind of aircraft or spy craft, whatever you want to call it, that the U.S. uses over an area to gather video or information, that kind of thing, it's considered what's called ISR. So yeah, intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance. That's what the acronym stands for. So this guy's an ISR tactical controller. Good God, the beer's hitting me already. He says the Jellyfish video was captured in fall 2017 by a tethered PTDS surveillance balloon, which could pick up quadcopter drone threats almost weekly. Some of the drones would have grenades on them, so it was important to identify those threats quickly. The Jellyfish, however, was a mystery to the PTDS team. Sinkoski says the actual raw video of the strange object is 17 to 18 minutes long and towards the end appears to float over Habania Lake. Regarding the claims that the object descended into the lake, then shot out of the lake at high speed, Sinkoski says, quote, I never saw that. At no point did it ever shoot out of the lake into the sky. He also states, unquote. He also states no one on the base, including the PTDS team, ever saw that happen. And regarding the claims of the object, quote, changing temperature, unquote, in the video, Sinkoski agrees this could simply be a camera adjusting to exposure levels. Quote, it's pretty standard to adjust the exposure of the sensor to get a better view while tracking an object, unquote. So what is it? Sinkoski thinks it could have been an artifact on the lens or the housing of the PTDS balloon's surveillance camera. The PTDS teams, however, disagree with the theory as they constantly clean and maintain the balloon systems. In fact, right after the Jellyfish sighting, the PTDS balloon was brought down, serviced, and cleaned. He does concede that there are details in the video that don't fully support the artifact theory and thinks a potential cluster of balloons is an interesting theory, but adds, quote, "It was a little too static to be balloons," unquote. When asked if he had to choose between the object being something alien or prosaic, Sinkoski replied, "The latter." Not deemed a threat, the Jellyfish video was stored on the base's secret systems and soon became a folktale. Quote, "We never saw it again and it was never explained," unquote, says Sinkoski. It became the base ghost story. We show the video to any new guys and tell the story. He is very excited the video is now out in the public. Sinkoski states he doesn't believe in extraterrestrial life and thinks some of that could very well be flying around the Earth. Sinkoski states he does believe in extraterrestrial life and thinks that some of that could very well be flying around the Earth, but he opines that maybe they aren't alien in the traditional sense, but perhaps from another dimension. He emphasizes that this is just his opinion, but that it's fun to think about, which I agree. So that's one story that we've got in regards to this. So, yeah, we've got a lot of questions. Again, we have to look at this thing, and I'll be honest, again, we look at this bit of footage here, which is the same of the object. It's definitely, like they said, it's definitely a three-dimensional object. But again, we have to ask, could it be balloons? And it's very possible, but it almost, to me, seems to be like a bunch of different smaller objects that kind of almost seem to be around like a central core of some kind. Hard to really say what that is, but honestly, if I'm looking for a more terrestrial, possibility, I'm definitely thinking these balloons they're sounding like a very plausible, possible thing. So then there's of course other questions that we have, and let me find some things here. So this is one here. Okay. So let's go to the source itself. So this is the tweet directly from Jeremy Corbell, who released the footage into the public this week. "Hey, Gigi, good to see you. Hey, Kaiser, sorry I'm late. Got caught up in other things. No problem at all. We're just kind of going and say we're only about 30 minutes in, so, probably going to be a short stream tonight, but that's perfectly fine. This is kind of a weird story, but yeah. So, yeah, Jeremy Corbell released this footage earlier this week, and here is the direct quote from his Twitter page, X, whatever you want to call it. All right. "Today we released the raw footage of a military-filmed UAP incursion within the United States Joint Operations Base. This UAP of unknown origin displayed transmedium capability and has been officially designated by the United States intelligence agencies as a UAP, unidentified aerial phenomenon. This designation is currently maintained." So what that's kind of getting at there is saying that apparently the United States, Joint Operations Base, they looked at this thing, they couldn't figure out what it is. They've determined that it's an unidentified aerial phenomena, which is a pretty broad definition, to be honest with you. Now, he's claiming that this thing displayed, quote, transmedium capability. Now, transmedium capability basically means it can go from space to Earth, or basically go from space to in our atmosphere to in water without actually stopping. And there's not really any way for this thing to, or there's not really a way that we know of that these things can essentially stop or be stopped. They just kind of fly around with impunity. Now, again, he's claiming it's got transmedium capability. In that video that I saw, I didn't see it. That's just my personal take. But then again, allegedly, there's an 18-minute long version of this footage, allegedly. Why they didn't release the whole thing, I don't know. But I think it's at least important to kind of acknowledge things as we know and what we got right now. Try and see what we can come to some kind of at least baseline on this. So the Jellyfish UAP raw footage received, video number 1, date and time, October 2018. It was apparently at nighttime. Location, footage was taken at a United States Joint Operations Base in Iraq. It's thermographic, forward-looking infrared, which is called FLIR. Now, they did mention in one of these other articles that apparently it actually gave the name of the base, which I've closed that window, so I'm going to have to find that again. Marks. There we are. Okay. So allegedly, as I said in the Michael Sinkowski interview there, allegedly at Al Taqaddum Air Force Base. Okay. Interesting. All right. Continuing on in this article here. So the footage was taken at a U.S. Joint Operations Base in Iraq, and an incursion by an object of unknown origin was filmed at a United States Joint Operations Base in Iraq. The base was designated UAP, or the object was designated UAP, unidentified anomalous phenomena, and was tracked for a durational period. The object moved through a sensitive military installation and eventually traversed over a body of water where it actuated a controlled descent, submerging into the water. After an observational period of about 17 minutes, the UAP re-emerged from the body of water and shot off at an extreme rate of speed. Beyond the optical scope of the observation platform, the origin, intent, and capability of the anomalous aerial vehicle remains unknown. Officials' designation remains UAP. Additional detailed reports by direct eyewitnesses to those familiar with the raw footage. The UAP displayed transmedium capability. The UAP was filmed entering the water with a controlled descent. The UAP emerged from the water about 17 minutes later and oriented into a sudden and rapid directional flight beyond the optical range of the platform monitoring it. The UAP displayed low observability. The UAP was not visible with night vision, IR, and appeared to jam the targeting capability of the optical platform. The UAP displayed positive lift without the normally associated aerodynamic means of lift or thrust. The signatures typically associated with propulsion maneuvers observed were absent. Okay. So that is Jeremy Corbell's breakdown of the video. I know that some people have some issues with Jeremy Corbell and some of the things that he says. I'm not here to tell you that, he's either... I'm not here to tell you that he's spot on or full of shit. That's not my job. I'm providing you the information and where I'm getting my information and kind of saying, all right, here's what we're looking at. I would love for y'all to go out there and make your own conclusions on this, because this is interesting. And I think there's a lot of questions here. All right. Let's see. So apparently he also reported it to TMZ, which, okay, interesting. All right. Ah, yes. Here's what I was looking for earlier. All right. So we're going to go ahead and watch this real quick. This is actually Jeremy Corbell's, basically his release footage, like what he's talking about, like what this is.
It's in thermal. It was filmed on a weapons platform. You see that there's a dog there. You see the animals are black. I'm assuming this is black hot. You see the object just went to white, and you'll see it going from white to black, white to black. And that's basically showing the heat differential. So it's going like hot and cold, hot and cold. The problem was the optics platform was jammed. These individuals who target with these platforms, they can shoot out an Al-Qaeda tire at 27 miles away, but not being able to lock it was one of the first signs that something's weird. I was able to find direct eyewitnesses and corroborate that this event did happen. When individuals would target in on it with the optics, the way it was described, each of these hanging things, they were stiff, like they weren't moving. They had geometric form, like scales. What was said to be scales, like an armor. There were also people with night vision who were out, and they were tasked to go look for it. Couldn't see it on the night vision. Only in the thermal spectrum could it be seen. But anything that looks like that appears to have a payload, that's a big deal. It could be dangerous, so these are high priority. But what happened is there were a couple other nations involved, and the feeds were shut, just shut immediately. So that put me on high alert too. Why is it completely being shut down? But that's not all it did. It goes out over a body of water. I'm told it stops on a dime, descends into the water, stiff into the water. And for 17 minutes, nothing. And boom, this thing comes up out of the water and shoots off at 45 degrees, just like that.
Interesting. I will make one quick observation. I freaking want that thing on my desk. It's the Bob Lazar UFO. Oh, that's awesome. I have a model kit of it, and I keep meaning to build it, but, you know, haven't had time. All right, so, again, allegedly there's a longer version of this video, which we don't have. And that immediately kind of makes me... I have questions. I'm not saying it's BS. I'm not saying it isn't. I'm just saying that I have questions. If we have an 18-minute long version of this footage, why are we not seeing that? So, just my opinion. But yeah, he does make an interesting point that our technology, with the way these are supposed to be used, like to see drones and whatnot, you know, that could be potentially dropping a grenade on people. The fact that they can't lock onto it with the radar, because usually if it's got a positive track and it does a locking track, yeah, it just immediately boxes that target and it doesn't move off the center of the screen. That's just the way that works, at least as far as I'm familiar with. Now, the fact that it looked like it was having to be somewhat manually tracked, that was a bit odd for me. I'm not entirely sure what to make of it. All right, so that is the current situation there. There is another little minute 30 promo that, let's see, he has. I'm not sure if it's the same one or not. This one was 2 minutes. It looks like it's probably the same information. I'll be honest with you. Okay. Okay. All right, let me try this one. So this was a little bit longer.
It's in thermal. It was filmed on a
It might be a little bit of the same information. But I did see some.
There's a dog there. See, the animals are black. I'm assuming this is black hot. You see, the object just went to white, and you'll see it going from white to black, and that's basically showing the heat differential. So it's going like hot and cold, hot and cold. The problem was the optics platform was jammed. These individuals who target with these platforms, they can shoot out an Al-Qaeda tire at 27 miles away, but not being able to lock it was one of the first signs that something's weird.
Okay, yeah. A lot of this is what we saw in the previous video, but there is more footage I saw in this.
Did happen when individuals would target in on it with the optics. The way it was described, each of these hanging things, they were stiff, like they weren't moving. They had geometric form, like scales, what was said to be scales, like an armor. There were also people with night vision who were out and they were tasked to go look for it. Couldn't see it on the night vision. Only in the thermal spectrum could it be seen. But anything that looks like that appears to have a payload, that's a big deal. It could be dangerous, so these are high priority. But what happened is there were a couple other nations involved, and the feeds were shut, just shut immediately. So that put me on high alert too. Why is it completely being shut down? But that's not all it did. It goes out over a body of water. I'm told it stops on a dime, descends into the water, stiff into the water. And for 17 minutes, nothing. And boom, this thing comes up out of the water and shoots off at 45 degrees, just like that. It looks very much like what I've heard that has made incursions into nuclear facilities, because I know for sure, fact of the matter, there is footage from inside a nuclear facility, and I'll just say it, Pantex, that's the one, man. Something that appears identical to this moves between these nuclear silos and shot off again at a 45-degree angle. What it is, I don't know, but now, when it goes over a body of water, I do have some footage of that.
Okay, here's more footage.
This is when that same object, a jellyfish UFO, goes out over this like, you can kind of get an idea by that distance now how far these optic systems can reach. When it gets to that point where it's over the water, every source that I have talked with who is aware of this footage, that footage exists. You've got a UFO or UAP descends into the water stiff, comes back up, and then shoots off 45 degrees. Now, this was taken by an intelligence agency and buried. So I don't know, man. These are the cases that spark me. I don't know what
that thing is booking. I'm not gonna lie.
Military filmed UAP footage designated where people risk getting that to me. I take it as serious as it sounds, and I try to get to the bottom of it. And it's hard, you know, but I do have a number of direct eyewitnesses now.
Interesting. So yeah, somebody did a bit of an interesting rendering here that I just saw. So it's kind of somebody did this with the like the rendering, just what we saw in the footage, and then tried to extrapolate that, kind of what we saw, where it almost looks like there's an exposed, it looks like there's an exposed cockpit maybe. I'm just I'm just trying to, extrapolate what I'm seeing in this photo. Do I think that's the case? I highly doubt it. I don't think that that's the case, but I can see how somebody would extrapolate that from this footage. I'll put it that way. I'm not going to dwell on it for too long, given that information. So this all just happened in 2018. And of course, I found myself going, okay, well, if we're not really able to pinpoint it, I mean, it's very possible. Could have been, as we mentioned, it could have been a set of balloons. It could have been a smudge on a camera. Number of different things. And then I started to run across something very interesting. Real quick, nail a couple of these real quick. So Mustang McCracken says that looks like the one Krigler has. Oh, the UFO. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Von Dyen says, what if this is linked to the Philadelphia experiment? The same tech, I mean. I don't know if it's the same tech, but I think there's something weird here. Von Dyen said that would explain why it wasn't seen. How big was it estimated to be? Actually, I have no idea on that. And there's not really been any way of verifying how large the object was. Because with a flying object, even if there was something in the background, we don't know how far away that object was to the camera, and then how far away the background or think objects in the background were to the camera. So it's not really able to extrapolate. If there is a way to do it, it's not any way that I've been found. So here's where the story gets really weird, because while digging for this story, I found this story, I found the information that I've shown you guys, and then something got brought to my attention that I did not expect, and that is this. All right. So let me try to zoom in here best I can. It is like, I will admit, it is really hard for me to see. And I know it's really hard for you guys to see that too, but it's a very small print. But yeah. Actually, save image. Just do that. Okay. Open. And I can zoom in over here on this screen. There. Oh, yeah, I can read that so much better now. Awesome. Okay. So let's read this article. This is interesting because I had not seen anything about this before. 28-year-old stewardess Daphne Jean Webster of Birmingham, pictured here, was one of the crew of 11 of a BOAC Stratocruiser, that's a British airliner, who reported seeing a formation of strange machines flying parallel to the airliner for more than 80 miles while the Stratocruiser was on its way from New York to London. Ms. Webster said the objects appeared to be not less than 5 miles away. Quote, "We are quite certain that the machines were in flight and they were something solid," unquote. She added, the pilot, Captain James Howard, said that the formation consisted of 6 small black objects and one larger machine, a flying jellyfish, which appeared to change shape constantly. Many of the 51 passengers in the airliner said that they watched the formation. That's a little bit of a plot twist. So this is from over 50 years ago. And yeah, this story was about a jellyfish UFO from the 1950s. That's alarming, to say the least. But the story gets a little bit more interesting because there is another story here. Yeah. So this is actually from another person who tagged this that I found. The captain of our ship had a unique presentation of the phenomenon: car-sized, silent, flying jellyfish. This is a cruise liner captain, I believe. Or maybe she's an airline captain. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, let's listen to what she has to say.
We were up on deck, and we just had the crew members on board when we saw this
cruise liner.
It looked like a giant black jellyfish, and it started at the bow of the ship.
And there's footage.
It floated all the way down the center line of the ship, through the ship's stack, and then past the stern, about 400 meters off, and then it started to descend into the water. It didn't make any noise. There was very little wind, maybe 5 knots at that height. The nearest ship was about 2 miles away, and the nearest land was 12 to 14 miles off. That's Royal Caribbean's private island. And
notice it says this was June of 2020, by the way.
And the size, I would say it was probably anywhere from 10 to 12 feet long and probably 4 to 6 feet wide. And this video, some of the Discovery Channel contacted me and said, can we use this video and have our experts look at it and kind of dissect it to try and figure out what it is? And to date, nobody knows what that was, but that was one of the more interesting things that we saw. I like to think it was my dad sending somebody to check on us, because you know that Area 51 connection, but who knows?
What? I also find it very interesting and kind of curious that don't forget we recently had in film and movies, Jordan Peele made that movie Nope, inspired by jellyfish UAPs encountered, or at least it had a jellyfish creature like an alien. Coincidence? Look, I'm not throwing anything out there. I'm just saying that's just a odd coincidence. All right. So that's kind of where we're leaving the story at. This is where we're leaving it. There's a lot of questions. I don't really know what the answers are, and I'll be honest with you. This one is very strange because there's a number of different things that you could do to kind of potentially try and debunk the story that seem to be interesting. I mean, it could have been, it looks like a smudge on a camera until you take into account the fact that it has three-dimensional, that it has like three-dimensional attributes to it. It's a bit odd that there's enough people, like eyewitnesses and information, to say that, yeah, okay, something happened here. They're not really forthcoming with what, but they're saying something happened. We have multiple people we have multiple sightings of this thing throughout history of something similar to it. It's very odd, and I'm not entirely sure what to make of it. But what I will tell you is it's definitely weird. So, just saying out there for anybody who wants to try and fight me in the comments or whatnot, let me just make myself abundantly clear here and just say, I'm not telling you what this is or what this isn't. I'm not telling you to believe Jeremy Corbell. I'm not telling you to believe him. I'm not telling you not to believe him. I'm not telling you to believe anything. I want you to take the information and the stuff that I've given you, do your own research, make up your own mind. I'm not here to hold your hand, but I am here to entertain you and keep you interested and bring you some very fascinating things that just kind of happen in, well, our world. So, all right. I'm going to do this one pretty short tonight, so we're right at the edge of an hour long, so we're going to go ahead and probably cap this off here in just a moment. So real quick, just going to do a couple of quick little housekeeping things, and then we will go ahead and sign off for the evening. I was going to go ahead and try and go a little bit longer to dump us over into MG Law's live stream, but looks like that's not going to happen now. I guess he's got some weather rolling in, so definitely, definitely kind of hope everything's okay down there for him. Mexican Vader says, I'm still leaning towards probe droid, which probably means the aliens could be spying on us. I don't know. And I'll be honest, there's a lot of questions that are going to go unanswered. Yeah. It's the classic case of
bullshit or not.
I haven't had any chance to use that one in a long time. All right. So, here we go. Coming up next week, I'm going to try and set a time and get everything together so we can talk about the Miami incident recently. There's been apparently some hullabaloo around that, which I am still trying to piece my way through the maze of footage and all kinds of crazy stuff about that. So we'll see how things go. We'll kind of report on that if that ends up being something we can go to next week. I'm going to try and aim for next week on that one. Then possibly after that, I'm going to try and probably aim to do your Skinwalker Ranch episode that you guys asked me to do. And we'll see how that goes. Other than that, so right now, status of other live streams. So Real Talk Live, I'm on the fence about it because, I mean, I at least right now with the current situation and whatnot, I'm kind of on the fence about doing more of those right now. I mean, Real Talk Live, it's better as kind of a panel discussion show, and I need to find out a date and a time that works better for more people to be on a panel to talk about movies and stuff and actually see if we can get something set up there. Like always, also, it's kind of the month of January. And for those of you who don't know, January is a month where basically the studios dump all of their tax write-offs, pretty much all their garbage that they know is not going to be profitable in the current year. That's when they dump all that stuff out there, which we have which some people smarter than myself have taken to call it by something else.
Do you know what month it is?
Fuck you, it's January!
Yeah. If you know, you know. Yeah. So, not sure if we're going to be doing any Real Talk Lives coming up in January. I'll keep you posted on that. I have been tempted to do another Kaiser Reviews show, but somebody has been trying to get me to do it for the Echo show, and I don't know if I really want to subject myself to that. Of course, with the Ahsoka season 2 being announced, I suppose at some point I'm gonna have to whenever Ahsoka season 2 premieres, probably in 2026, I'm gonna have to do that one. So I'm gonna have to stockpile booze for the next couple of years to get myself through that series. Anyway, other than that, I don't think there's going to be any show tomorrow. There's not going to be any videos tomorrow unless I just happen to find something that really, really needs attention. Kind of slow right now. Again, month of January. Usually entertainment news is kind of slow. But trying to put out videos for you guys as quickly as I possibly can. I will keep you guys appraised. Something else I'm going to be trying to do, I need to do a big purge on my desk and clear a whole bunch of things off. My goal is to actually bring back the Model Mondays show that I started
a long time ago, because I have still got a buttload of model kits and stuff that I need to build. And I built this giant desk so that way I could do that. And I have not done any of it. So, yeah, I'm going to try and work on that here soon, so that way we can bring back Model Mondays or something like that, and do some model builds, do some painting and whatnot, and just have some more chill streams that I can just hang out with you guys. And, you know, times where you can throw money at me and make me drink and probably try and make me screw up painting on a expensive model kit. Who knows? Let's see. Mustang McCracken says, do you build Gunpla or 40K? I do. I have built some Gundam models in the past. I have not done any recently. I have got a bunch of other model kits that I've really got to get on. I started a Saturn V about middle of last year, and I stopped, and I still need to finish that Saturn V. And then once I get that one built, I mean, I've got the Bob Lazar UFO, I've got, you know, the car from Supernatural, a whole bunch of others, and I've got like another model kit that I bought over a year ago that's just been sitting in a box. So I need to get back to it, and I've got a whole bunch of miniatures that need to get going as well. Mustang says there's an RX-78 that I want. It's like $350. Well, trust me, if it's anything like some of the garage kits and stuff that I've found overseas, yeah, that's not completely out of the question. Trust me, there is an RX-72 or the RX-78 3, which is the Physalis Gundam from 0083. It's like $380 for this model kit. It's massive. Anyway, I know they've also got one for Kaishatria and a couple of... I know I'm talking Greek to everybody else in the audience, but oh well. All right, folks, that is all I got for today. We are right at over an hour, and we are going to go ahead and play us out here. Thank you all so much for watching. I have had a great time. It is good to be back, and we have got more content. We've got more videos coming up for you soon. I know things have been slow right now. Some of that is just to do with the winter season and whatnot, but as things get going, we will be making a lot more content, a lot more cool stuff. There will be plenty more for y'all to see. So keep it tuned in here. Come on, check out The Edge of Reality, and I will see you on the next video. Peace.
You ever wonder why we're here? You ever notice that the information that we're being fed doesn't always add up to the truth? Do you ever look out your window at night when the rain's falling down? You ever look down the street and wonder what is going on around you? You ever look out at night and ask yourself, is this all that I am? Where am I? What am I? Is this all there is? Is this real life? As technology continues to bring us closer together, it also tears us further apart. We watch the skies and look at the planet around us and its natural beauty as it continues to march forward on and on and on, unending, unceasing, unwavering. And yet our world, everything that we've built, crumbles around us. We wonder, is this it? Is there more? There's got to be. We can search. We want to learn. We want to understand. We want to see all that we can see, know that all that we can know. We want to look out there. We want to peek behind the veil. We want to ask the questions that nobody will answer. We want to light those fires, the sparks that ignite a curiosity in us. And we ask ourselves, what is out beyond all of that? Beyond the edge of reality?